some clarity on what happened on the Cup touchdown and how he got behind there. Can you kind of give us a feel for what the breakdown there was?
Yeah, it was just a coverage assignment, some miscommunication on the field, and that starts with me. I got to make sure everybody's prepared to the level that we need them to be prepared, and so got to get them all the looks in practice, and then we got to execute.
What should have happened there?
Geez, I ain't going to give you my coverage pickups, but we just know that it was a coverage bust.
After the game, Sean, Matt said, you guys would have to regroup and move on. And he said, Sean's never done this before. The week after a loss, the week after any game. What was your message to the guys? How did you handle it? And how do you think? And are you completely moved on, or do you still hang on to some of the mistakes that happened?
No, you can't hang on to anything in this league. This is a marathon that we're running right now, and we're at the first start of it. So you can't hang on because that's where things snowball. And so the way we handled it was how everybody I've been a part of, everybody I witnessed handled it. You address the issues, you're very direct, and you take accountability. And it starts with myself. And I let the guys know where I was accountable, and they knew where they were accountable. And then we move forward, and we've got a plan to attack the Bengals and improve on from our performance from week one.
Sorry. What were you thinking, though, at the moment Van Jefferson goes down and either of the safeties touch him?
Yeah. Probably similar to what you guys were thinking. What happened? Did they touch him or not? And obviously they didn't touch him. And so at that point, it's like everybody else. What are you going to do? You can't take that play back, right? So we got to get ready to go play the next play and fix those errors.
Sean, when you did watch the tape after the game, just your broad perspective on the issues, what stood out to you as glaringly this wasn't good enough?
Yeah, the pass pickups was probably the number one thing, which I'm sure you can look at the stat sheet and look at that intuitively as well. And realistically, it's 3 or 4 plays that went big. And those 3 or 4 plays against an offense like that and against a quarterback like that is where you get exposed. And that's what happened. And I think Sean said it the other day, and you watch, go ahead and watch all 16 games played in week one. There's a lot of those mishaps happening, and unfortunately that's not what we pride ourselves on.
Sean,
our guys know that.
Sorry, Sean. How about the pass rush, specifically Khalil Mack, who I don't know if he recorded a quarterback hit in that game. I guess how does he process that, and how do you process that specifically with him?
Yeah, I think pass rush is a function of rush and coverage. And it's all about timing. And from my end, we got to do a better job of trying to get him going. And from a coverage perspective and a schematic perspective, we got to be tighter. Sacks come a function of rush and coverage. There's not many people that are free winning on the first move in this league. And if they are, you're talking to the O-line coach on that side of the ball, and they're saying the same thing. It's a mistake.
Sean, there's been a lot of talk from players, coaches about accountability since you've taken over. When it's 2 veteran safeties who failed to touch a guy, a simple play, how do you hold 2 veterans accountable? Do you just say don't do it? I obviously know that. So what do you do as a coach?
Yeah, no, you do it the same way you hold anybody accountable. The accountability standard doesn't change by years measured in the league. Our standard is the standard, and so everybody's held accountable to the same standard, regardless of your years and regardless of even me. I'm held to that same standard. So the accountability is addressed in a very direct, matter-of-fact way, and we move on. We can't dwell on things in this league. Like I said, you can't let things snowball. You address it, and you improve it, and you ask for clarification. Make sure that the way you're teaching it is proper, because sometimes the way you're teaching it isn't the right way.
Just curious.
That's on me.
I'm just curious with regard to your manner. Is it more parental, or do you get angry at the two guys?
Yeah.
Which
You're a parent, right? You got to pick and choose your battles of when you're getting angry and when you're being more parental, and that's the same way here.
Sean Christian, what did he ultimately do to win that nickel spot going into week one?
There was a lot of things that go into that decision, and it's been a great competition. It continues to be a great competition with him and Duke. And we as a staff felt that he edged it out there in the beginning and earned that spot there. And so we felt good with that decision.
John, what did you think of your team's tackling on Sunday? And I know the coaches in the first game of the year sit there and say, after preseason when maybe not everybody's playing in games, I know it's not an uncommon issue, but what did you think of it and how do you get it better?
I think we had probably 8 plays where I would have graded missed tackles on, a total of 12 missed tackles. So what does that mean? That means on one play, you had 4 or 5 guys miss. You know, and that's a function of pursuit and angles. So those are things that we will continue to correct and continue to fix. So I think it gets magnified. And then the yards after contact, you know, we got a limit. You know, when we get close to guys, and you guys asked me that question a couple of weeks ago of how do you get better at tackling? And what did I say? You got to close the distance with speed. And that's what we got to continue to do.
Was that the 3rd and 13, the multiple misses?
Yeah. That's right. That one that cut back.
Sean, the same question kind of on the coverages. There was more than just 2 missed. Without getting specific, how many missed coverages did you count?
You know, you probably go around in any league in the game, you're going to have a few. Now, off the top of my head, I would say there was probably only 2 or 3 major busts. The other, like a missed coverage isn't a one-on-one. That's not a missed coverage because that's this league, right? The offense got to win their fair share of one-on-ones, and the defense has to win their fair share of one-on-ones. So that's not a blown coverage. So there was a very limited number of those, and we got exposed on them because good teams and good quarterbacks expose you on those things.
So on the Jefferson touchdown, beyond not getting touched, I mean, he was wide open. Was there a missed coverage on that one?
Yeah, you know, we had a coverage pickup that we needed to rectify there also.
Sean,
Right.
back to Mark's question a little bit. You have such a good relationship with Eddie Jackson, you know, being a safeties coach in the past. If you have to challenge him after a game like that, how do you deal with him specifically? Because you know his personality so well, and you know what makes him tick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, just how I deal with everybody. I kind of know all these guys really well. And Eddie's a guy I've worked with closely, like you said, as a safeties coach and me in that room. So, somebody asked a question about, you know, do you get angry or do you take the parental mode? It's a similar approach. It's an individualized approach to each guy, right? Because everybody doesn't respond to the same way of coaching and teaching. And I've learned that through my education background. You know, so you got to be able to reach these guys where they're at and make sure they're responding to where they're at. And that's what we're going to do. You know, I think we've got good relationships on the defense from the coaches to the players and the players to the players, and that's what we're going to bank on to continue to develop guys.
Sean, as you dig into the Bengals, early impressions of Chase and what he did in his debut.
Oh, Jamar, man, he's really good. You know, he's really good. He's setting himself up to be a marquee receiver in this league, and he's earned that right. You know, he's earned the right through college, and he's proving it. And obviously, he had an explosive game where he had 5 catches on 7 targets for 100 yards. So he's got the speed. He's really good at the intermediate routes, getting in and out of breaks, and so he presents a nice, good challenge for us. All these receivers do, quite frankly. They've got a really good set of skills on that team. You know, they got 3 or 4 receivers. The tight ends are both solid guys, and the running backs are really good.
What's your impression with the full complement of receivers? How have you seen Burrow trusting and having comfort in you know, not just Chase, but Higgins and Boyd and that?
Yeah, you know, you see the growth of that quarterback. You know, he's done a tremendous job, and it's a credit to him to endure through that injury that he had last year and make it back for week 1. And he hadn't played much in the preseason, so he's been obviously putting in the time and working, and they had a really good week on offense. And so he's doing a good job, and I think his growth is going to continue to happen.
Sean Gibson was pretty honest about how tough the film session was yesterday. What was that like for you, kind of leading that post-game for the first time, and how did you feel like your players responded?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, and you never would imagine something like that, right? You're not trying to plan for something like that, but you've experienced things like that. I've experienced those types of losses. You guys have been here with me for 9 years. We've had some losses that have been much worse than that in my time here. So I've seen it, how it's been handled, and like I said, we address it in a very direct, matter-of-fact way, and we address it from a teaching and learning perspective that we all got to improve on those processes, from a teaching perspective as coaches and myself, and a learning perspective as players.
Would you like to get
on fourth down and continually comes up short? How does that stress you as a defensive coordinator, and how does it change the way you go about coaching the next drive?
Yeah, not much. It's P and 10. You put the ball down, and we're going to get ready to play some football.
Would you like to see Travis Gibson get a little more opportunity, especially when you're going through a game where you're struggling to get home with the pass rush?
Yeah, you know, that was a unique game. I think there was 53 plays. You know, so you know, you're giving guys more opportunities to take them from who. You know, so you know, that's a balance that we're going to continue to work through, and we want guys to have the best opportunities that they can have, and we got to put them in the positions that they can optimize. Appreciate you guys.